But as Governor Scott Walker daydreams about new drapes in the Oval Office, Democrats have suddenly gotten serious about unseating him from his day job, from the one that's in Wisconsin. One Democratic contender for governor in Wisconsin just upped the ante significantly by signing up a bunch of A-list Democratic campaign staffers, including two key members of President Obama's campaigns for president. The head of advertising for President Obama's two campaigns and the head of direct mail for one of President Obama's campaigns have just signed on to work with Wisconsin Democratic hopeful Mary Burke as she tries to beat Scott Walker and become governor of that state. In very early polling, Mary Burke is essentially tied with Governor Walker. That said, he has already beaten good Democrats twice for the office that he now holds. What makes Democrats believe they can turn it around a year from right now? And how do his 2016 hopes interfere with all of that? Joining us now for the interview is Mary Burke. She's a member of the Madison School Board. She's a former executive at Trek Bicycles, and she served as Wisconsin's Commerce Secretary from 2005 to 2007. Mary Burke, thanks very much for being with us.
Well, thanks, Rachel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Does it matter to Wisconsin? Should it matter to Governor Walker's reelection effort if he is, in fact, running for the Republican presidential nomination for 2016 while he's also trying to be governor? Should that matter?
Well, I think what the people of Wisconsin care about is whether they have a governor who's focused on the issues that are most important to them. And as I travel around the state, I hear that people are concerned about jobs, and that a governor has that focus, that they're making that the priority, and that they're doing all they can to move the state forward. You know, we've been lagging in terms of job creation since the recession, and I believe we can do better by bringing people together, considering all the options, and making sure that we're focused on the ones that work. Put problem solving ahead of politics.
Wisconsin was the center of the political universe when Governor Walker moved so bluntly to strip union rights in the state. And that was, I mean, I think the reaction to that was in part about the policy, but in part it was about the way he did it, the confrontational way he did it. But the recall effort to turf him out of office after that, despite all the anger, it didn't succeed. How do you think that episode changed Wisconsin politics? Why do you think you can beat him now when the recall effort couldn't beat him before?
Well, I think it gets down to who we are in Wisconsin. You know, we're people who like to get along with each other, and we like to work together to move the state forward. And as you mentioned, this was incredibly divisive. And I think people really want leadership that does bring people together. And I've heard that as I've traveled the state. And so I think that actually will be a big campaign issue, is the type of leadership. And is it the leadership that brings people together, or is it the divisive leadership that we have seen over the last 3 years?
Women's rights and reproductive rights have been an area of huge focus around the country. In Wisconsin, things have taken a very sharp right turn on those issues under Governor Walker. He went after Planned Parenthood, shutting down abortion clinics. He even rolled back equal pay for equal work law in Wisconsin. Did those efforts contribute to your decision to run against him?
Absolutely. You know, I believe very strongly that women should have the freedom to make their own health care choices. And what the governor has done is roll back Wisconsin many, many years. And so I think it's important that we are able to make those choices. And I was encouraged to have Planned Parenthood's endorsement today. But also we will be focusing on the issues that matter most to the people of Wisconsin, which are jobs.
You did get an endorsement, as you just said, a year out from the election from Planned Parenthood. And obviously, I read their endorsement, and they're very much focused on policy changes that have happened in Wisconsin. It's a bit of a signal, though, that your race, if you're the candidate against Governor Walker, it's going to be a big, high-profile race. Do you expect there to be a lot of national attention, a lot of national outside groups weighing in the way that Wisconsin politics have sort of gotten accustomed to over these past few years?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised by it, and I think that no doubt Governor Walker has made himself a national Tea Party figure, and that will bring attention. But I think the election, in the end, will be about what the people of Wisconsin care about whether they have leadership that's focused on the issues that are most important to them. And, you know, I have a track record of 30 years in terms of addressing issues. In the private sector, I worked for Trek Bicycle in the division that I ran there. We increased sales from $3 million to over $50 million in just a few short years. Then at the Department of Commerce, we had a 4.8% unemployment rate and 84,000 more jobs than we have today. And then I got into education. I said, how are we going to close the achievement gap? And I created a partnership that brought together the Boys and Girls Club and the Madison Public Schools so that students, high school students who would be the first in their family to graduate from college were on that path and able to realize their dreams. And I think that's what the Wisconsin voters are going to care about. They're going to care about leadership that brings people together, that sets the priorities that are most important to them. And that's what I'm going to do when I run this race.
Mary Burke, candidate for the Democratic nomination for Wisconsin governor. Thanks very much for the introduction tonight. I know this is your first national interview. It's nice to have you here, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Rachel.